Hello everybody and welcome to another one of our leadership training videos. Now you probably know by now that these leadership training videos are there to support you in your journey on leadership, to give you some ideas about what effective leadership is about, some thoughts on what you need to consider as the traits, the characteristics and the abilities of leadership. So whether you're a follower or a leader, or whether you are an entrepreneur or you just have an interest in leadership, you're in the right place. So welcome. Now I want to ask you a question, and I want you to answer it as honestly as you can for yourself. Would you say that you behave differently when you are in your home from when you are outside your home? Do you behave differently when you are with friends compared to when you're with your family? Do you behave differently when you're in the workplace compared to when you are having a drink with friends or colleagues in the evening? The reason I ask this question is because today what we're going to explore is the idea of what we call core values. And core values are incredibly important in leadership. They are like, I guess, the DNA of our behavior, our attitude, our character, and our characteristics, which people see on the outside. So before we delve into it, my name is Chris Igwe. I have over 35 years experience leading, developing and managing teams across primarily the 5 different markets where I've worked and across Europe, Middle East and Africa. And what I share in these videos is really my own personal insights in my journey and what has worked for me, which I hope is going to work for you as well. So if this video resonates with you, which I hope it does, please feel free to comment, like and share, and encourage people who you know to take a look at it and see and look through the other videos as well that I have shared with you. And also, of course, subscribe to the channel so you know when other videos are becoming available. Okay, so core values. Core values are really, really important. They are fundamental. Like I say, it's a bit like the DNA. They shouldn't really, based on my original question to you, it shouldn't change you. It shouldn't change your behavior depending on the circumstances or environment within which you find yourself. So what are core values? And I'm going to go through a fairly comprehensive list. I'm not going to talk through each one of them because we don't have time to do that, but I am going to share what are essentially seen by leaders and in leadership as the major core values that leaders have. Now, I guess the first thing to say also is it's very personal. So I suggest that once you've had a look through this, maybe look through the video again, but identify those which are most you. There are 2 things. One is, which ones do you operate primarily by, and which ones do you wish to acquire? Now, most leaders use a handful of these. The really most successful and best leaders, depending on the framework of what best is to you, use many of these and in different situations. So, commitment. And these are your own core values, by the way, and also the values that other people see when they look into your eyes or your behavior. So commitment, you are committed to something, you have a drive, you have empathy. We've talked in a previous video about empathy, about emotional intelligence, connecting with people. You are honest, there is an honesty factor which guides your decision making. Transparency, which not all leaders show, by the way. And transparency means you are transparent in every situation that you are in. So you are clear. You are the same wherever you happen to be. And patience. Now that may be something that not all of us have, but you show patience. You demonstrate that. You provide service. So one of your kind of moral compasses is always serving others. So service is part of your performance factor. Humility, you are a humble person by nature in whatever situation. Respect, you respect others and others respect you as well. Adaptability, so something's not quite going the way you might want it, or a project or whatever, you can adapt. Something changes fundamentally. A decision is made that you didn't like, that the market, the team, the business makes, you can adapt to that. You're flexible, if you like. Wisdom, you show or demonstrate wisdom in all that you do, which doesn't have to come with age as well, by the way. Wisdom can be for anybody, but you are wise about the decisions and choices you make. Accountability. You are accountable. We've talked about this in another video in quite some detail. Leaders have to be accountable to themselves and for themselves. So you own the things you do or don't do. You don't put it on somebody else. You don't blame anybody else. Authenticity, which we'll go into in more detail in another future video, but authenticity, being who you are. And this one is integrity. And for me, that is one of those that I attach most importance to in my leadership style. It's about being integral, integrity, wherever you are. So that situation of whether you're at home, you're at work, whether you're with friends or with your work colleagues, integrity has to be the same. Passion. You have this, you're passionate about all that you do. You have this drive, this commitment, this desire, this energy to drive things forward. Passion. Influence. Influence is where you influence or are able to influence others in decisions and choices that they have to make based on what you are bringing to the table. So you can influence others, you can influence situations. Communication, which is not only about your ability to communicate and communicate well, but it's the fact that you know how to communicate, whether it's by phone, whether it's by email, whether it's by conversation, whether it's just by your body, as it were. You can communicate something, a language that is sometimes invisible, but you are a good communicator. Vision. You have the ability to show a vision which others can understand, but also you have a vision for yourself, because that's really important as well. So you are someone who has a vision. A few other things. Clarity. You have clarity of thought, clarity of decision making. You are compassionate. You show compassion, a little bit maybe with that empathy part as well. So you show compassion, you listen, you understand. You are fair. There's a fairness aspect. So whatever the situation, whatever the decision, may be linked to wisdom in decisions you need to make, but you have a moral compass which is about being fair, being just. Timeliness and punctuality, which is also very important, and that's one that I value incredibly. For me, it's very, very important that I am timely and punctual. So if there's a call set up at a specific time, and maybe it's part of my living in Switzerland for many, many years, but that idea that your time is as important as my time. If there's a call that's scheduled or a meeting scheduled, I always aim to be on time. And people find it rather like a joke now, because if I'm even 10 seconds late, they will make that comment and shout it out, which I find amusing. But I expect people to be punctual. I am punctual and timely in all that I do. So you may say, okay, that's great, all these core values. It's important to have core values. I guess you get it now. I would almost say, maybe stop the video now, run back through some of those and see which ones are most appropriate to you. What are the few that you function with on a regular basis, that are part of your DNA, your operating model? And once you've done that, think about the why, because that's an important question. Having all these core values, great, but why should you have them? Well, I put it to you that two main reasons. One is to inspire loyalty, and the other is to inspire commitment. And before we close it off, I just want to say the idea of inspiration. If you remember, leadership is all about inspiring other people to bring the very best out of them. That's what your aim is as a leader, to inspire people. So when you have these core values and people see time and time again your integrity, your passion, your empathy, your punctuality, maybe the wisdom of decisions and choices that you make, that you are fair in all that you do, that you are committed to them, you are passionate. When they see these different elements in you, on the one hand, it inspires them to become like you, to own some of those areas that you are demonstrating. But it also means they become committed to you. and committed in the sense that they will do what you ask, expect, or desire, sometimes even before you say it, because they know. The punctuality one is a simple one. They know that you want them to be at meetings on time. There's no two ways about it. You are not late, except in exceptional circumstances, something comes up, but they know things happen, but very rarely will you be late for a meeting. You're always punctual. So all these things, look at them and say to yourself, how can I make those a part of my life? How can I make those a part of my leadership so that people become inspired, loyal, and committed? And then in closing, it's really about these, because the idea of having these core values means that you set up your true north. You don't deviate. You don't walk left, you don't walk right. You are absolutely on this line of those core values because they help improve your decision making, because you make them based on your own values. So if it's a fairness thing, for example, and you have a decision to make, you will make that decision based on how fair you are to the individual or individuals concerned, or in terms of how that project should be positioned. It will guide your actions. So each action that you take, you can do the kind of litmus test. So test it against what your core values are. Core values help you provide clarity. So when you're not sure about something, you look at whatever area of those core values most position the clarity that you're looking for, and you get a better result. Really important. You attract people to you. Because as I said, the idea of the core value is like your DNA. It doesn't change. It shouldn't change in whatever circumstance. So you're bound to attract people to you. If they say, I like the way this guy, his vision or her vision, or the passion that he or she has, or the commitment to the result on this particular project or this particular team, you attract people to you by default. They go, I like the way he or she behaves or acts. And finally, it's very much your guiding star, or as I say, that true north. So if you're not sure about something, you want to test it against each and every one of those, and whichever one you function and perform best or most with, that is the one that matters most. So I put it to you that if you are not sure about your core values, what they are, look at that list again. Ask yourself honestly, which are the ones, maybe the few, that you perform against or you measure yourself against. And if you're not sure, because some people have difficulty with identifying that, then ask somebody close to you, somebody who knows you, your spouse, your partner, boyfriend, girlfriend. Even ask your children. They will tell you the honest truth. It might hurt, so be prepared, but ask your children. Of course, depends on what age they are, and they'll tell you where you are best, most obvious that they can see, and they can say, yes, that's you, if you need some help in supporting you around that. So I hope that you've known or learned a bit more about core values. Inevitably, each of those is a topic in itself, and we can delve deep into it, but just wanted to give you an overview of one of the core leadership skills that you need to have, which is to improve, enhance your core values, to work with your core values, not against your core values, such that they create an amazing leadership path for you going forward, because that is really important. It helps you grow. And as you grow, you attract more people, more opportunities, and quite frankly, you enjoy the process as well. So thank you very much for listening and watching. I would ask you to, if you have any questions, please feel free to share those or comment, like, and of course share the video itself and subscribe to the channel. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Thank you.